Optimism. Even with declining infection rates, public activity needs to be guided by caution. So even if the infection rate of the coronavirus is declining rapidly, very rapidly, public activities needs to be guided by caution. All the public activities, all the public activities, they should be guided by caution. Means all the precautions should be still taken. For example, the precautions like maintaining the social distance, sanitizing our hands, and also not forming crowds as much as possible. The course of the coronavirus pandemic in the new year presents a picture of contrast, with some rich countries running out of vaccines, experiencing a tide of new cases and deaths, and poorer countries going without access to vaccination, while India reports a case decline. So currently, in the new year of the pandemic, all type, different types of situations are being experienced by different types of countries. For example, the richer countries like USA and UK, now they have run out of vaccines. They have no more vaccines to vaccinate the rest of their to vaccinate the rest of their population. But they will but they'll obviously keep producing the vaccine, and soon time they even the rest of the people of their country will also get vaccinated. And in poorer countries like Africa and so on, in those countries, only a small amount of people have access to vaccination, and the rest of the population is going to continue without vaccination. And in countries like India, and in India, most of the people got vaccinated. Approximately 3 lakh people got vaccinated, um, and uh, um, and we're also doing a good job, because the fatality because the case rate and the fatality rate, both of them are decreasing rapidly. Vaccinate hesitancy may even be wasting precious vials in some states. And some states in India, uh, they're not exactly sure if they need to vaccinate all the people. So basically they're showing hesitancy. So if they show that if they show the hesitation in vaccination, it could lead to a larger problem. So they should sort it. They should sort out their problem as soon as possible. It, it, amidst amidst suggestions that the worst is over, the Home Ministry has proposed further relaxations in the protocols for public cinema theaters, holding of exhibitions, and access to swimming pools. So finally, um, the Home Ministry, it has proposed new relaxations in some restrictions. Means it has cleared some of the restrictions. Like now, people have the access to swimming pools. They have the access to swimming pools. They can go to cinema theaters, holding of exhibition, and access to swimming pools. Even they can also go to exhibitions. They can also go to swimming pools. And now they can also go to cinema theaters. This will come as a relief to some of the outlying sectors that could not fully unlock so far, although, as the ministry points out, all the other activities have been permitted. The January 27 guidelines for surveillance, containment, and caution also create a window for the further relaxation of international air travel, but the DGCA has decided to maintain status quo on scheduled flights till February end. The January 27 guidelines for surveillance, containment, and caution also create a window for further relaxation international of air travel. So even many of the restrictions in air travel, all of those restrictions have been taken, and all of the situations have been permitted. But there is one case. But the DGCA, it has decided to maintain status quo on scheduled flights. So that DGCA, it is still willing to maintain most of the restrictions for the safety of the passengers. And all of these restrictions will be held only until February. Full fledged until the end of the February. Full-fledged inter-country rail services awaited decision too, but a full-fledged inter-country rail services means railway services in between the country, um, b- between between various countries. Inter-country means between various countries. Intra-country means between the same country. So the railway services between various countries. On that topic, the government it still needs to take a decision. Then, in an economy struggling with a demand contraction for goods and services, a graded opening is the prudent course, with strict enforcement of public health measures. In an economy which is struggling with a demand of contraction for goods, so India, like any other country during the coronavirus pandemic, it has a very struggling economy, and for any such country, a graded opening is the prudent course. Is the prudent course. So now that most of the restrictions in most of the sectors in India in the Indian government are eliminated. Now that most of the things are permitted in all the sectors, there are high hopes that our economy could get very good. With the strict enforcement of public health measures. But we should also maintain very strict public health measures, because even if we get the economy, because of the lack of the restrictions, now because of the lack of the restrictions, the virus may spread again. So people still needs to take all the people they still need to take the basic cautions. It would be wrong to read the MHA's unlocked advisory without taking cognizance of the protocols that must continue to be followed. Use of face masks, healthy distancing, staggering of working hours, uh, workplace sanitization, and firm action against spitting in public. So, as I said, even though most of the restrictions are eliminated by the government, all of us we still need to follow the basic cautions, like wearing a face mask, um, avoiding crowds as much as possible, and also spitting in crowds. It needs to be strictly prohibited, and also social distancing. These legal requirements, however, have been rendered moot in many instances by crowded election campaigns, agitations, and gatherings. But however, many of these they were actually neglected, or they were actually ignored in many of the in many of the gatherings, rallies, and protests. Many states are not even trying to persuade. These are Many states are not even trying to persuade people in public. So the states are not even they are not even trying to they are not even trying to spread this news to the public. They're not even trying to say that wear a face mask, even though the infection rate of the coronavirus has decreased, even though our economy is getting better, even though the virus is getting weaker. All of us still should wear face masks, and we should maintain social distancing, and spitting in public is also it is also strictly prohibited. India's declining infections have prompted a further relaxation of activity curbs, but there is no cause to lower the vigil. So it's the same thing again. Even though India is showing a decreased rate of infection, um, we should not be neglecting vigil. Um, Vigil means nothing but being cautious and observing everything, watching all of our movements, observing. We ourselves should keep vigil. We should keep vigil of ourselves. It means that even it means that we should be self-conscious. Whatever we are doing, we should be aware of all that, and we should be taking the following precautions. The genetic mutations of the coronavirus in South Africa, the UK, and Brazil they pose a new worry, with implications for those who have avoided infection so far, or or have recovered from after a difficult battle. So now that so the good news currently is India's infection rate and also the fatality rate, both of them are decreasing. But the bad news is that there are three new genetic implementations. There are three new genetic modifications of the coronavirus. These three have originated in UK, Brazil, and South Africa. So these three, all of those three, they still pose a threat to all the world. Poor communication and lack of transparency on efficacy data have produced hesitancy, resulting in low uptake in some states. So, as I said, in India, some of the states they're not willing to vaccinate their people, because the reason is that the companies who are made the vaccines, they're not being fully transparent about the vaccine efficacy. They have said that this vaccine works, but they exactly did not say that how much percent it will work, because the vaccines which are said to be working in India, those vaccines, they only have anecdotal proof or anecdotal evidence. They only have anecdotal proof. Anecdotal means something that is not based on true facts. So because of the lack of transparency of the vaccine of the vaccine efficiency, some states, they're showing some hesitation in vaccinating their people. On the other hand, the virus variants have turned the spotlight on second generation vaccines that are expected to protect against them, but will take time to arrive. So now a new type of vaccines known as the second generation vaccines are arriving. Are arriving. These vaccines are very powerful, but they'll but because of that reason, they will also take a large amount of time to be arrived. Without ready pharmaceutical without ready pharmaceutical remedies, citizens and policymakers have to fall back on the default toolkit of safe behavior. So currently, we don't have any advanced remedies for getting rid of the coronavirus, like the second generation vaccines or any other or such types of things. So all of us should be strictly following the basic cautions, using face masks, maintaining social distances, and so on. There will be considerable interest in new measures in Europe, where governments now require use of masks of N95 or FFP2 standards to offer higher protection in public places and transport. Germany is to give these free to people over 60 and to vulnerable individuals. So some of the countries, like Germany and Europe, a continent. So in both of these places, the governments are providing their citizens with highly effective masks. In India, even with a sizable population exposed to the virus, as, as zero positivity surveys show, the spate of infections in Kerala and Maharashtra underscores the value of the precautionary principle on the road to the universal vaccination. So, in Kerala and Maharashtra, even though the overall infection rate has decreased, the infection rate in Kerala and Maharashtra, both of these are still stable, and sometimes they're even growing. So we should consider all of this, and we should still be following the basic cautions against the coronavirus. Thank you.